Prepare for a lot of twists, montages, and unanswered questions in new horror movie Influencer. Not to be confused with 2021 indie horror The Influencer or Australian influencer horror Sissy, or Die Influencers Die, or Follow Me, Deadstream, Like, Share, Follow, and the list goes on, and we will talk about this trend very shortly. But this influencer is a horror mystery thriller where we follow Madison, the typical archetype for a social media star. But as we quickly learn, the Instagram versus reality filter is strong, and although the film opens up to Madison enjoying some of the most beautiful landscapes Thailand has to offer, she is lonely, and things aren't great between her and her boyfriend. But a mystery girl, CW, swoops in, saving her from an awkward encounter, taking her under her wing. Now her new friend is showing her the sights of Bangkok and how to live in the moment without Instagram. But the more we see of CW, the more us as the viewer question, who is she really? And what are her intentions with our Madison? The film gave me instant The Perfection vibes, not because of any of the themes or story, more to do with the way that the film twists and that it revolves around the meeting of two strangers, the friendship of two women. And the film definitely takes a soft approach to Madison's character. She's not this awful diva behind the scenes, but just lonely and less confident than she appears online. The film pacing itself is interesting because it does take some sharp turns and reframes itself each act, introducing new scenarios which change the whole focus of the film. And it takes its sweet time showcasing the stunning locations, the atmosphere for each of these scenarios. A lot of the film is sewn together by these montages, these young and wild and free scenes, or just stunning landscape drone shots, leaving large gaps in the dialogue and asking the viewer to allow the visuals to just fill in the gaps. And although everything in this film is stunning, here's where the questions start rolling in. And unfortunately, they're never really answered. The film is directed by Curtis David Harder, who directed Spiral and produced Superhost, Harpoon, and What Keeps You Alive. And the film does remind me a lot of this kind of horror. It's a winding path with unique aspects, but also it's something that you need to go in knowing it's pure entertainment and it's meant to be lighthearted in a kind of way. These films are meant to focus on the characters at hand, and any plot holes of how they survive or may not survive these inciting incidents are to be left at the door. For me, it was really hard to believe that people just go about trusting strangers without asking any questions. Instead of trying to make sense of any backstory and trying to win over the viewer as them believing what's going on, we're given these wild and free sequences showing us, look, they're bonding, they're getting along. I guess they just figured each other out in their own time. We don't need to know that. I guess as a horror fan, I have trust issues. I want to know the details. I want to know the backstory. I know that doesn't always apply, but to a situation, this situation, it does. But beyond the frustration of never having the full mystery unfold, there is a satisfying scratch that has been itched by Madison's character and following a developing influencer down this dark rabbit hole and trying to decipher why the writers see influencers as such an easy target. I mean, it works, and I'm assuming it might work for you too. I am very allured by anything to do with influencer horror. As soon as I knew the premise for this film at the start of the month, I was in. And it begs the question, why are we so obsessed with seeing the downfall of the influencer, or just seeing the influencer without the filter and the behind the scenes, and somehow that having something to do with horror? It's become such a popular theme throughout modern horror. And I believe one of the primary reasons of the popularity of influencer horror movies lies in the audience's familiarity with influencer culture. Social media has become an integral part of our lives, and influencers nowadays, I hate saying it, but they are revered as contemporary idols, some more popular than Hollywood movie stars now. And these horror movies offer an intriguing glance into the lives lives of influencers, exploring the seemingly glamorous facade behind their carefully curated online personas. Audiences are drawn to these movies as they tap into their fascination with influencer culture, allowing them a chance to experience the dark underbelly of this phenomenon. More so in horror form, these movies possess a unique ability to blur the boundaries between reality and fiction, and some employ found footage or mockumentary styles, and because it is an influencer taking the shots themselves, it's so easy to explain why we have the good angles, why we have a POV of the blood and guts and gore. It incorporates elements of social media platforms such as vlogs, live streaming, we see this a lot, and of course, in-screen interactions. It's kind of the replacement for the Blair Witch. Instead of finding the tape, this is how we consume media. And even more so, it adds an extra layer, especially if it's live, because we're watching the horror unfold live, which is really exciting. And of course, like all trends, these horror films explore our current feelings on society. They tap into fears and anxiety surrounding social media and the pursuit of online fame, with loss of privacy, which is a big one. And even in that, we tap into films like Rata, where they talk about webcams and what your webcam can really see. And then, of course, the psychological toll that these would take on people and the validation. It's all amplified through the lens of horror. And I feel like these films offer this cathartic release for that. And they provide a platform for dialogue, for implications on what is happening in our real lives. I mean, digital real lives. And audiences are fascinated by the exploration of these fears and anxiety, recognizing the relevance and potential consequences of the digital age. And this film Influencer plays off these fears and elements in an interesting and mostly unexpected way. But honestly, it left me wanting more. And once you see the film, you might feel the same. But don't wait, because Influencer does have some really windy roads. And if you want to find out for yourself, it's better to find out now instead of being told later, because this one is easily spoiled. You'll want to discover what's to come before someone else tells you, because what awaits you is a mystery in a beautiful landscape sprinkled with some intense kills and anxiety-inducing scenarios. It's an easy watch that just may fulfill your craving for influencer horror this month. The film is now streaming on Shudder in some countries and AMC Plus if you do want to check it out. I'm going to give it a personal score of a 6 out of 10. I enjoyed it for what it was, but I don't think it's anything groundbreaking, but it really did make me think about why we're so obsessed with influencer horror movies, and I would love to know. Please let me know your favorite ones down below. I really recommend Deadstream. That's a recent one that I really liked, and I like that film's mostly kind of satire, but there are darker ones, so let me know all of the ones that you love, because I don't know why. It's just so satisfying. It's kind of sick. For scare score, I'm going to give this one a 2 out of 10. I think there's some very dark moments, but they are very much sprinkled in. I'm really interested to see what you guys think about. You'll know it when you see it. About a kill. It's intense. And for originality, I'm gonna give it 5 out of 10. Let me know if you saw Influencer and what you thought about it, and of course what you think about social media horror as a whole. And thank you so much for watching. Huge shout out to my patrons who make it possible for me to bring these videos to you. So love you guys. And if you do want to join me as a patron, the link is always in the description down below. I'm also now on Twitch. If you want to come hang out, it's very chill vibes, very cozy vibes. Chat about horror news, chat about film news, do some reactions, all that good stuff. But anything is on the table. So if you want to come and start that journey with me, please do. I'll leave that down below as well. I hope you're all having a fantastic day, and I'll talk to you very soon. Stay safe, stay away from influencers, because apparently they're a magnet for horror scenarios, and stay spooky. Bye, friends.